in your opinion, come forth May, what is the kind of result we're going to see in Tamil Nadu, and what is the kind of result we're going to see in Puducherry? And the reason I'm asking you that question is because the politics in Puducherry, of course, it's a union territory, but it's heavily influenced by what happens in Tamil Nadu, right? So please.
First off, if I would like to take up Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has seen a phenomenal 5-year rule under our illustrious Chief Minister and the party leader, Mr. Stalin. Reacted to each other. I am not sure how, but I hope that our government, as you said, the initial belief of the people that there was a change required. Beyond all, coalition mistakes, I think people would see that there is a need for a change, especially when it comes to a situation like, say, for example, if right now there is an issue going on here, they would like to have a government which would stand up to the rights of the people vis-a-vis the union government. There is a 3-language policy which is being pushed by the NEP and the CBSE board. So French, if you look at it, these things, you would like a government here, people would reflect the people's sentiment here. Why I'd say French is official language here. As with the treaty made by the French government and the Indian Union government, they have basically said the French will remain a language of administration and choice until the elected representatives of the Puducherry decide otherwise.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Hindustan Times, your election headquarters. I'm Abhishek Singh. The election coverage on Hindustan Times continues. I'm joined by R. Senthil Kumar, sitting MLA from Bahor in Puducherry. With him, we will talk about what's the situation in Puducherry, because the exit polls have been predicting that once again, the coalition which is in power will come back to power, and that, of course, gives BJP the edge. But DMK... several exit polls have given DMK a very good chance in Tamil Nadu of forming the government. What will be the impact of that on Puducherry is something also that we will discuss with Mr. Kumar. So, Mr. Kumar, first of all, let me just take this opportunity to welcome you and just check with you before anything. What are you feeling? What's the situation on ground? What are you hearing from DMK workers in Puducherry?
I'm happy to be here. Vanakkam. And happy to be here with you guys. And in Pondicherry, if you're looking at, we've been waiting, our elections was this time around happened slightly earlier than the usual norm of going along with Tamil Nadu. So our polling was done on 9th and we're waiting for the results for about a month now. And here, Pondicherry, we, there was 5 years of NDA government here, with the leadership of NR Congress. And people, there was a parliamentary election where our candidate won with a thumping margin. And since then, people were looking for a change in the government. That's what the sense was until recently. And we had high hopes, and we have entered into the election with high hopes of, coming to power here as an alliance. Let's see. We will have to wait and see. I see the exit polls which have shown, upper hand for the NDA to come back to power, but we keep our fingers crossed, and I think people would see through and try to see a change in government.
Mr. Kumar, as you said, this time around in Puducherry, elections are being held alongside Tamil Nadu. And what will be the impact of this, in your opinion, on the elections in Puducherry? Because Puducherry, of course, just has 30 seats, and the magic number, the number to form the government, is just 16 seats. You yourself, last time around in 2021, won the election with very thin margin. Correct me if I'm wrong, just 201 votes?
Yes, that's correct. So here, that's why the exit polls are usually. This is the first time around I see many people doing exit polls for Puducherry. Usually they don't do it because the margins are very thin here. Most elections are decided between less than 1,000 votes. So it is very hard for any psephologist to predict such close elections. You can only identify general mood, and such close elections can go either way. They are within the margin of error. So it's anybody's game when you're trying to predict elections in Pondicherry. And this time around, I see there's one more thing which is playing around is usually it happens like a coalition against a coalition. This time around, the elections didn't happen in such a way because there was friction in this coalition as well as that coalition, and it more happened like 30 independent elections rather than election for the state. So that it makes it even more harder to predict, because you don't have the sense of the people or mood swing towards one or the other. So I think it's even harder to predict. And there's also a new force in town. TVK is there, and even though they are not as strong as one would consider in Tamil Nadu, because their leader is a contender for a chief minister there. He is not a contender for a chief minister here. So people, though they are a player here, I'm not sure they had the same impact as what they would have in Tamil Nadu. So it's very hard to predict, because the margins are, this time around also we expect a lot of elections to be decided below 1,000 votes.
Below 1,000 votes. That's make the election really interesting in Puducherry. And also, you were talking about TVK, you were talking about Vijay's entry in politics. Of course, different exit polls as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, giving him various number of seats. One has even predicted that Vijay will manage to cross the 100 figure in Tamil Nadu. But that aside, I want to bring you back to Puducherry. As far as Puducherry is concerned, TVK has entered alone, is not a part of any coalition, but it's fighting on all 30 seats, right? And your constituency, where you won from in 2021, is very interesting from the point of view of demographic, because there is a lot of young voters, first-time voters, and that is the demographic within which Vijay is supposed to have, a strong support. So, what are you thinking of your chances this time around?
I understand the general sense around the younger vote. But you will also have to take into consideration, I'm also a young legislator, and
Absolutely.
I'm also active in all these forums where the younger people get their message. I have tried to bring my work for the last 5 years in many forms to the people, either through online or a social platform, or even printed a book of what I've done. So I see that how. But I'm not an attractive star. So, but still, I think I would stand my ground with young.
You're a successful businessman. Being humble is good, but you're a successful businessman, and you won the Bahor Assembly seat in 2021 successfully. By a thin margin, but then that's the nature of elections in Puducherry. So, but don't undersell yourself. But having said that, what would you say were the biggest factors based on which the election in Puducherry will get decided?
As I said, this election didn't happen in a normal way, where a coalition brings a message and a manifesto versus another coalition brings a manifesto and a message for people. It more happened like a 30 different elections. That is something which is very new around this time. A few things will come into mind. People, here, if you look at it, there are multiple basic issues people are sitting on, like say, for example, if I would like to bring to your attention, traffic is a big concern in Puducherry. You look at it, we are at almost 90% capacity to volume, and it is projected by 2036 our average traveling speed will be 21 kilometers per hour. So, and if you look at the noise pollution due to traffic congestion, we are at almost 85 dBs, which is around 130% of the national standard in terms of noise pollution. So there are traffic issues. There is water issues. We have high salinity of water. Our TDS water, urban, especially the urban areas, range from anywhere between upper 1500s to 2000. So water issues are there. Then there is a sewage issue. You would have seen, a couple of years back, a year back, there were 3 deaths due to sewage issues, and multiple water contamination deaths happen. So these are basic issues which we are sitting on. And I'm sure these things will factor into people's voting. And if you look at it, if you want to go elaborate into it, there is a dengue issue, which is also a high prevalence here. It's actually noted as hyperendemic, meaning it is an ongoing disease. It's not a seasonal or a temporary outbreak. It is an ongoing epidemic kind of thing, where we have one of the highest national average in terms of dengue per lakh people. I think it's about more than 100 per lakh. And if you look at the suicides, we have one of the highest national average. We are at 30 per lakh. So these are things. And the other thing is unemployment of youngsters. We have a very good network of colleges. You see one of the highest medical colleges per square area, or whatever metrics you take, we have one of the highest numbers. Engineering colleges, we have arts colleges. People are we even subsidize a lot of their medical and engineering education, and a big time, which is a great scheme for people from all kinds of strata of society to get educated. But then again, they don't find jobs here, so it's basically we're spending money for people to move out. We are subsidizing the brain drain here. So these are issues, I think. But being a UT, one other thing also which comes into people's mind, that a good relationship with the union government, that sometimes overrides all these things and gets prominence. So I don't know, people who are they going to vote on just one issue of a relationship of with the union government, or all these things, who people who bring these things to the fore? But you need to bring it to the forum to be addressed and to be solved. So I think if our alliance gets to power, I think we will talk about all these issues. And being a UT, we always under the wraps of the union government. So we would like to bring up these issues to them and try to get solutions. So sometimes overriding issue might be that union government UT relationship could be an election issue, a big time issue. But these are all the issues which I think people will consider and vote on. And maybe other than that, then of course it's a very candidate driven politics in Puducherry. So people might apart from any other consideration I discussed, they might just go with the candidate who they like, or the chief minister who they want to be. So it's a very peculiar situation, and the margins are so small, and it's very hard to predict. But I think the election ground was ripe for a change, and you would have seen there were some issues on the pollution setting and candidate announcement and all those things. I don't know how much that will affect, but people might still say, we wanted to vote for you, and you were having, you tried to do a harakiri, but still we'll end up voting for you. That can happen. However hard you try to lose, we'll still want you to win. Is a possibility which we are hoping for.
Right. And let me ask you this question, especially because you're somebody who's not coming from a political family, who's somebody who just joined politics 5 years ago, right? So what's your experience been of being in politics? Because often in this country, we talk about the fact that we need young, smart, educated people, joining the world of politics. And you have. You took that leap, right? So what's your experience been, and what would you say to some of the other people who are probably sitting on the fence and thinking about joining electoral politics?
See, I just would like to correct you for just to make the facts clear. I do. My father was a legislator as well, but I came in after a gap of nobody was there. I had to. It's a small place, as I said. People wanted me to join politics, so I made a leap of faith, hoping they will, take me under their wings. They did with a small margin, but I hope I have worked for them for the last 5 years with the sense of service in mind. I would say that people would it is as more and more it's become a big man's game or a big money's game, but still I would say people who have service in their mind, who have public interest in their mind, should try their thing out. It's somebody's got to work for you. It's a division of labor. You cannot have all not well-meaning people working for you and expect good results. So if you're well-meaning, if you want your society to be good, I think you have to throw your hat in, and you cannot just sit back and be always on the social media pointing the wrongs of. You have to put your hat in and see what happens. I encourage people who had the sense of spirit of society, because everybody doesn't need to be here, but at least somebody who means well, who want to their society, how they want the society to be, they have to put their hat in the race and see how it works out.
Right. So if you're somebody who thinks that you'd like to contribute by joining politics, please go ahead and do that. Also, my last question to you, and it is a twofold question. One part is about Tamil Nadu, and the other part, of course, is about Puducherry. In your opinion, come forth May, what is the kind of result we're going to see in Tamil Nadu, and what is the kind of result we're going to see in Puducherry? And the reason I'm asking you that question is because the politics in Puducherry, of course, it's a union territory, but it's heavily influenced by what happens in Tamil Nadu, right? So please.
First off, if I would like to take up Tamil Nadu.
Sure.
See, Tamil Nadu has seen a phenomenal 5-year rule under our illustrious Chief Minister and the party leader, Mr. Stalin. You see that they have clocked in double-digit growths in the last 2 years, and there are social schemes which covers a wide range of people. It's reaching out to a lot of people who are nobody's left behind, and there is a very good industrial growth, economic growth, infrastructure growth, and a social growth. So it is a well-rounded government which has been running for the last 5 years. I am sure people of Tamil Nadu would appreciate it and bring our leader Stalin back with a thumping majority. I have no doubt that the DMK is forming the government. I'm sure the majority is going to be a good majority, and we will see that. And also, there is an ongoing, always, a strong union government under the, for the last 10, 12 years under the BJP rulership. There was always, would also see somebody, our chief minister, as somebody who's standing up to the rights of the states vis-a-vis the union government stands on many issues. So I think both these things combined will bring our leader back to power, strongly. That is what I have to say about Tamil Nadu. In Pondicherry, you would see that there is a people was it's ripe for change as when you go with the parliament election results. But you would see that this is a union government also. That weighs, it's a UT government, that also weighs on the public's mind. So here, the way the coalitions, reacted to each other, I am not sure how, but I hope that our government, as you said, the initial belief of the people that there was a change required. Beyond all coalition mistakes, I think people would see that there is a need for a change, especially when it comes to a situation like, say, for example, if right now there is an issue going on here, they would like to have a government which would stand up to the rights of the people vis-a-vis the union government. You would have come across a recent circular that French would be taken out of the language list of available list in the CBSE schools in Pondicherry. Either they choose English or French or something like that is what is going on. So there is a 3-language policy which is being pushed by the NEP and the CBSE board. So French, if you look at it, these things, you would like a government here, people would reflect the people's sentiment here. Why I'd say French is official language here. As with the treaty made by the French government and the Indian Union government, they have basically said the French will remain a language of administration and choice until the elected representatives of the Puducherry decide otherwise. And based on this, there was a law passed in the Puducherry Assembly as well that French will be an administrative language and an official language of Puducherry. So you cannot have something as an official language of Puducherry and not say that it cannot be taught in schools. So you see the contradiction here. So these are the things which I think a government like a DMK government will stand for the rights of the citizens of the Puducherry. I think people would have would see that and would have voted for us. These are many. There are a couple of the things. There is a CBSE there. There is also prepaid meter stuff which they want. The EB is trying to push down the throat of the citizens of Puducherry. These are things I think you would like to have a government which will, stand for your rights of the Puducherry, rather than just, go along with whatever the diktat of the union government. Though we are a UT, there is, as long as I'm living in the father's roof, I would live by his rules. But then again, the father has to keep in mind that he has to provide for me. There is a lot of misconception in Pondicherry that union government is providing us a lot of money. You would have seen a fact, our revenue, the 70% of our revenue comes from our own income. Only 30% comes from grants or anything. And we are not part of any finance commission, so that there is an automatic devolution of funds. So in lieu of that financial devolution from finance commission, we are getting a grant from union government. So it is pretty much, there are multiple studies that they are pretty much the same amount of money which we are getting if we were getting devolved from a financial commission. So there we are not getting any much money as we used to. It was once a case where we used to get almost 70-80% of our revenue from the union government. Now it is down to 30%. So we're not getting money, but we are getting a lot of control and over a lot of things.
So you're saying if DMK comes to power in Tamil Nadu and also comes to power in Puducherry, you'll be able to make a stronger case for the people of Puducherry and Tamil Nadu with the central government. All right. But on that note, thank you for being such a wonderful, articulate voice from Puducherry, joining us, talking to us, explaining to us the issues in Puducherry, based on which the people are going to decide who they're going to bring to power come 4th May. Thank you for taking out the time.
Sure. Thank you. Nice being with you guys. Thank you.